Oh, you're probably waiting for the next intro, for the next video, right? Well, here it is. Here's the intro for the next video, so go ahead and watch it. Go on. No. Here it is. Here's the next episode of Geeking Off the Page. Seriously, go.
In a world overrun with an infinite amount of multiverses, originating from a plethora of sources, four longtime friends band together to try to make sense of it all and present it to an audience in an easy-to-digest podcast. This is Geeking Off the Page.
Hello, geeks. My name is Mike Kitchen, and I was rickrolled by Spider-Man.
Hey all, I'm Trevor, and all things being equal, fat people use more soap.
I'm Gavin, and the ass pain, it's searing!
I'm Troy Bowman, and right you are, Kenny. So this is what we got here, is we got a collective of groups, as it said in the opening of the show. This is a Geeking Off the Page. We are welcoming you to episode 9. That's right, 9. We've been at this for 9 weeks, guys. Well, technically 10, but we're never going to find that first one because it never got recorded. So it's a collective of like-minded people, that friends that have been together for 25 plus years from our animation days in Sheridan College in Canada. For those of you not in Canada and have no idea where Sheridan is, it's in the Ontario area of the Oakville area of the world, sort of thing.
If you don't know, how dare you?
Exactly. So we are here to talk about comic books and all of the things that involve comic books these days: movies, television series, action figures, and toy lines, and everything that encompasses it. So what we start off with here, so we start off with what every good movie-going experience has. We go with the coming soons. So we have our opening trailers, which what we got. We didn't have very many things that were too meaty, but we were introduced to this movie called Infinite. Now, does anyone want to take a stab at what Infinite is about? All right, insert cricket noise here.
Oh god, there's just it feels
Highlander.
like
It's Highlander without the Highlander rights.
there's a little bit of Highlander, and then you have the whole reincarnations of kind of like Assassin's Creed in there as well, because they're waking up his skills. So yeah, it's like someone who binged Highlander while playing Assassin's Creed and thought, oh, I got an idea for a movie.
That was actually a really good Mark
Marky
Wahlberg.
Mark.
That was a really good Mark Wahlberg impression you said there, Trevor. Guys.
Yeah, guys.
So yeah,
Maybe a little sprinkling of wanted on there.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's just.
Oh yes, Wanted. Yes, Angela
Yeah,
Jolie. Yeah.
Good thing it's going to be on what, Peacock?
It's going to be Paramount Plus.
Woohoo!
So it's basically coming out next week. It's coming out June 10th for Paramount Plus, the subscription service that Paramount now has. And yeah, it's basically looks what it is. This guy rediscovers that he's been reincarnated all these sort of times. So I guess it's more of a Hawkman thing, because I don't know if he actually is actually immortal. He just keeps
they call themselves immortals because they retain their skills from their past lives. And
yeah, there you
go.
Mention
of it takes 10,000 hours to master something. Imagine if you have 1,000,000.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so
How
yeah.
did that go again, Trevor?
Yeah, just exactly like that. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah.
And of course we've got Mark Wahlberg as the main character, as our McLeod, I guess, of this version of the storyline and all that.
Not McLeod. Boy, you want to get sued?
It'll be Wesley McLeod.
Wesley McLeod, yes, not Connor McLeod. It'll be Wesley McLeod. Or what was the guy from the TV series?
Oh,
He was also on McLeod, and he was.
I didn't watch it, so there you go.
Anyways, but
I know the actor's name, but I don't know the character's name.
yeah. So there's not much about it. I mean, the trailer looks like there's a lot of action. There's a lot of, but there's probably not going to be very much substance to it because, well, I mean, it's probably going to be fun to watch, but
It'll be like a bowl of gruel. It nourishes, but barely.
But barely, yeah.
In movies like that, I want them to succeed because I love that kind of stuff. That weird time travel, reincarnation, secret society, John Wick, Highlander, like all that kind of stuff. It's some of my favorite genre of movies. But looking at the trailer, it's like I don't have my hopes up for it. I hope it surprises me.
Something like that would work well as a series that you can develop a little slower. So it's not like the guy goes from 0 to maximum hero in the course of an hour and then, kicks the world's ass and gets the girl and all that bullshit. Spread that out over, 10, 12, 16 episodes, like hour-long episodes. Give it time to develop and it becomes a more enjoyable series. You can put more story into it. But yeah, they're going to do it as like a 2-hour get in, get out.
Dude, listen to this, guys. Here's a little bit of a downgrade. Chris Evans was originally cast as the main character, but had to drop out of the film due to scheduling conflicts. So I'm going to try and find out the running time of this movie, which should be here on the very first front page, but it's not telling me how long it actually is going to be. But again, like you said, Trevor, something like this needs to be dealt with in a series because, hell, even if it is a 2-hour movie, it's not going to be a satisfactory explanation. Because
I think you can get a story across in 2 hours. 106 minutes. You can get a story across in 106 minutes if you wanted to. Like, it is doable. I agree that certain things you can decompress, unlike Jupiter's Legacy. You can decompress it and get more story and more enjoyment out of it. But at the same time, there is we grew up in movies like that. It's a one and done. Go to the theater, see the movie, go home satisfied. Mm-hmm. Like, there is a way to do it. Now, will they do it? That's a different story.
It's based off a book called the Reincarnationist. God, this is going to be a mouthful. Reincarnationist Papers. The book itself is 415 pages. Usually, a good rule of thumb is if you're adapting from written work, 100 pages is at least an hour on screen.
Roughly,
so this should have been 4 hours.
Point the Hobbit.
Well, but the thing is I'm just saying, if you're taking something that's that thick and you're compressing it down to just a hair over an hour and a half, you're basically like, oh, that's a page. There's a couple more. That's a page. There's a couple more, and you're just you're basically gutting the book to just get in, get out, and say, yeah, we did it. So yeah. Probably won't be watching this one.
Are you gonna pass by it, Trevor? Well, again, if you don't have access to it, I
could get Paramount. At least I could do the free week, but this is worth it for me to do that free week for.
No, I highly doubt it. The only reason I'm going to watch this is because it is on, and I'm curious enough to do it. I mean, if I can fit it into my busy schedule, then I will do that.
I look at this next week. Loki's coming out. I have stuff to do.
Oh, there is totally. Well, see, the thing is, Loki's only going to be the one episode. I mean, there's only going to be. This is so weird. I can't find a single bit of information on several different websites about the running time of this movie.
I just went to Wikipedia and looked it up, and they had like budget, runtime, all that stuff.
Where? Well, give me the information then. Oh, I forgot to check Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Oh, there's a Wikipedia link. And we go to that, and we translate from Arabic. What the hell have I done?
Running time 106 minutes.
Where did you find yourself, Troy?
I don't know. I mean, I'm.
What VPN are you on?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Mark Wahlberg. I'm in the right one, but why did it take me to that? I just clicked on the. Oh well, never mind. You said 106. You said.
Yeah, 106.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next subject matter that we have. And basically, what we have is the Marvel Studios What If trailer. Now, this is pretty much. I don't think there's anything brand new that we saw. I think there's a little more footage in it, but it's pretty much the same stories that we know that we're going to get. We're also not sure of the actual all of the stories that we're getting because they're still keeping that close to the vest. But it's something that's going to be released on Disney Plus in July or August. Yeah. And so again, what we have is we know that we're going to have Peggy Carter as Captain Britain. We're going to get Steve Rogers in the Ironmonger outfit to match up with her. We're going to get T'Challa as Star-Lord. We're going to see Bucky, the Winter Soldier, going up against Marvel Zombies. What else is there? Oh, and which is the Doctor Strange one, which looks like a Doctor Strange story, but he's going up against a mirror Doctor Strange. Yeah. Like the mirror universe in Star Trek. This one's not going to have a goatee, and he'll be the evil one.
And there was something with Fury. There was like a couple brief panels of Fury, but I don't know what that which particular one that was for. That could have been Captain Britain. It'll be interesting to see. There's not a single one that I'm like, ooh, yeah, I don't want to see that.
Oh, for sure. The animation looks fantastic. The style looks
cel-shaded
really
CG.
cool. But cel-shaded CG, if done properly, is Jeff's kiss.
Jeff, why is he kissing this?
The sequence of Peggy as Captain Britain, the car hitting the shield and her lifting it up over her head.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. I mean, well lit and believable weight. Just
for sure.
Just great.
Yeah.
I like that it shows the Watcher.
It shows the Watcher.
So happy.
He was he started every comic.
Yeah. So the fact that they stuck to that, like that gives me a lot of faith that they're gonna, bring that vibe from the comic books into the series. This is one I can't wait to watch with the kids.
Oh, for sure.
Because it'll introduce that element that we grew up with reading the comic books to them.
I had every what if, and including all the what does. So it's what if was always one of my favorite ones of just, let's take a popular storyline and let's, take that left turn and see what would have happened.
Okay, let's go around. What was your favorite what ifs?
In the comics or the
comics
trailers?
In the comics, yeah.
Like I'll say mine was what if Uncle Ben didn't die?
Okay, yeah, I remember that one. All right.
I gotta say my favorite plotline was what if Tony Stark was actually a traitor? Like he sold secrets.
I don't think I remember that one.
Yeah. He eventually gets caught in the comic, and he ends up managing to turn tables on his on his handlers. But it was an interesting sort of take on it. But what if the Vietnamese soldiers that captured him, I think in the original series, actually convinced him that he had no choice but to obey them?
All right. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, there were many. What was it? The Punisher killing the Marvel Universe was a nice one. What was the one with Venom where he left Peter Parker, and I think he eventually got on. It was either Thor or Hulk, or the Hulk and then Thor, and from that point on, it was just
absolute devastation.
Because when it jumped off of Peter, I mean, up until that point, Peter was supposed to be like,
doesn't actually like kill? It kills Peter, right? Yeah.
He was an old, frail man.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it jumped from hero to hero, got onto Hulk for a while until Venom Hulk was fighting Thor, and it jumped onto Thor, and from that point, all the gloves were off.
Yeah, because after
somehow he was still worthy enough to have the hammer, had all the power of Thor, and all the power he had gained, like through going to various heroes. It was just, it was an ender. It was just
because I remember when it jumped off of Hulk, all that was left was Banner, and Banner mentioning how that's it. There's no more rage. It's all out of me. Sort of thing.
Radiation was out of him.
Yeah.
They're like, "Where's Hulk?" And he's like, "I have no more gamma radiation. It's gone. It's in the symbiote."
Right. At the time, I was a big mutant fan, so one of my favorite ones was "What if Wolverine was the Lord of the Vampires?"
Mm-hmm.
Brought Dracula in the story, and then at one point, friggin' vampire Wolverine has to kill Kitty Pryde
Yeah.
that was going off on a rampage because she was also a vampire that lost her mind and all that, so he had to kill her and all that sort of thing. Another one is I should have said it first because it escaped my brain. What if it was a double storyline, and it was what if Conan and Wolverine traded places?
Yes, that was.
So something happens up. Conan ends up in the modern day, and friggin' Wolverine ends up like teaming up with Red Sonja. But the great thing is, they couldn't communicate because their languages were off, and so Wolverine couldn't communicate with Red Sonja and all that. It was so cool. It was really amazing. And of course, Wolverine friggin' well becomes like master of everything in the Conan world because it's Wolverine. It's the 90s. It's Wolverine.
I just remember, didn't Conan end up fighting Captain America at some point?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't remember the Conan very much, but yes, he basically became a savage, and he had.
Well, at one point he became like a pimp because he was all decked out because he beat the hell out of a pimp and took all his clothes. I just remember that panel.
Yes. You're right. Yeah.
What if also introduced May Parker, Spider-Man's daughter, who had all his powers?
Oh, I think I bought that comic in an airport on a work trip.
Yeah, that's where she was first.
Yeah, that was a later one. I remember
getting that one.
Spin-off
series, but she was introduced in the What If, and she was May. Her nickname was Mayday Parker. She was a basketball player.
Right. Yes.
And Peter at this point, he had lost a leg from the knee down in one of his fights.
Mm-hmm.
And he was retired, and she was, but her powers were fully realized and stabilized. So she didn't have that uncertainty element that Peter has with his powers.
Yeah, because she inherited them. She was basically born with them. She wasn't an altered human like Peter was. Yeah. No, those were
Yeah, so those are a lot of the what ifs that I remember that were just like, I just remember going through them and just like put the issue down. I'm like, I gotta pick that back up and read it again because I can't believe everything I've read.
You know what? I would have to admit the exact same thing. They were definitely more than a single read. Yeah.
I would get a stack of comics, and that would be the first comic I read, the third comic I read, and the last comic I read of the pile.
The reason I enjoyed it so much is because it makes your brain start thinking about everything else. It's like, all these what ifs can happen.
Yeah.
Well, what about all the other what ifs that haven't been written?
I was thought the writers must have just loved it when they'd be like, I've got an idea for a what if, and they'd be like, run with it. Let's see what you go.
Yeah, exactly. So the one thing we do have to look forward to for this Disney Plus TV series is that all of the voice actors are being provided by the actual actors that portrayed the characters in the original MCU. And that also includes the final performance of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, or technically in this version, he's playing T'Challa, who is Star-Lord. And also we are going to be getting a Tony Stark storyline. We're also getting a Peter Parker storyline because of just the knowing who is in the voice cast. I have no idea what the stories are, but we know there's at least going to be a Spider-Man, and there's obviously going to be a Tony Stark as well. There actually is at least a shot of Tony Stark sitting in the giant donuts in the Iron Man suit, chomping away like it is in the first second Iron Man.
Which is one of my favorite shots of Iron Man.
One of the few
so classic.
Like Iron Man 2.
Yeah. All right, and the other one we're going to move on to, which I believe is probably the funniest thing I've seen all this week when it comes to comic books, and that is the Shazam 2 teaser. It's basically it's almost like our comedic version of our Cobra Kai season 4. We get a tiny little reveal of costuming in the dark, and then a mention that maybe we should have turned on a light, and that's it. It's maybe 10 seconds long, maybe if that 12 seconds long, and that's it. That's all we got. Now, whether or not that was just something that has been shot at any time and they put it out there, but
I don't know. I think it was a great way to remind people of Shazam, the movie's coming up.
Yeah.
And to remind us of the comedy element of him, like, maybe we should turn a light in here. It's really dark. Yeah. Which was also a nice stab at all the other DC films that it's dark and gritty, and gritty.
Yeah.
It's really dark in here.
Well, see, that's the thing too. Yeah, no, his
It was genius.
Shazam was a bright movie, which was thankful because.
Oh God.
Gotta say, I've been Amanda and I've been catching up on Chuck. She's never seen it before, so we're introducing her to Chuck, who's like the awkward, lovable nerd, klutzy as anything, flustered by everything, and it's such an amazing treat to see him as Shazam.
Yeah, Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi is perfect for this role.
It's going funny because the thing is, in the car I just played Tangled for the kids, and I got it from the car audio, and every time it talks, I'm like, that's just talking. And that's the point where my eldest daughter said, "Dad, please shut up."
Nice. Yeah, I again, this is the first time I ever saw Zachary Levi was Chuck, and fell in love with him right from the get-go. He's charming. He's witty. He's very physical. His comedy is a very physical sort of portrayal of all the characters that I've seen him do and all that. And I'd love to see him do more. And like we said, his Tangled voice acting is phenomenal. He's I mean, his Flynn Rider is pretty much flawless.
Yeah, I gotta say, for this trailer, because it was so dark, I thought we were going to see Black Adam. I was waiting to see The Rock's face as it went up, which was even more funny because it's like he wants the lights turned on. So that was a funny comic relief moment. But is Black Adam going to be in this movie?
I don't think so. I think they're setting up Black Adam, and then they're going to probably meet to a third film of Shazam.
Yeah. Well, I thought that I thought it was going to be Black Adam was coming up first, and then Shazam, the second Shazam, was going to have the Black Adam crossover, because Black Adam comes out first and Shazam is after it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that might be it. But I didn't even think. Of course,
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think. Yes, there could have been a Black Adam trailer. Could have totally been, because of the darkness and what we've seen of the artist's rendering of what Black Adam is supposed to look like. So yeah.
But either way, I think both of them will be fun. So I'm looking.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, okay. The other thing is Black Adam can't fail. Well, technically, it shouldn't fail, but they've put.
It's going to be pretty hard for it to fail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just call it Fast and Furious 14 or whatever it is, and people will show up to it.
Hey, F9
I'm
in a couple
definitely going
weeks.
to show up to it. I mean, Black Adam is one of my favorite villains, so.
Yeah.
The Shazamiest.
But that's why I was curious that it was going to be its own movie, Black Adam, because he is a villain. Like,
well, it's been a trend to give some villains some of their movies, but also Black Adam has such a rich story behind him that to just throw it off as like a mid-film, here he is, here's something of an order, it just kind of does the character a huge disservice, because especially because Shazam was such a great success, giving him Black Adam to fight, you got to build him up first to make it a contest worthy of watching. Because
they got the right actor for it. Like, he's got box office draw, so you can get away with making a film around it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, and definitely. Also, we got there was a bit of a, I don't know if anyone saw it, the trailer, the latest trailer, which is I think the third edited trailer for The Jungle Book. Speaking of The Rock, and it's one of those sort of. It does.
I didn't see that one. Explain it for the people who haven't seen it.
It's a ride.
It's Disney's let's make a movie out of one of our rides. There is a little bit of extra story into it, and they vaguely sort of center it around the actual ride, but it's probably going to go off on a tangent that's not going to be it. But what I do enjoy is Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson, both on film and off film, how their characters interact on film and how the actors interact with each other off. They seem to be one-upping each other and all that. At one point, The Rock had a poster of it, because this is when it has come out before the whole entire quarantine shut down the theaters, and it wasn't released like last Christmas. It was supposed to be at the 2020.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be at Christmas of 2020. So The Rock in July had posters put together, and it was a large picture of him. Yeah, Jungle Book on the top. It was a picture of him.
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise, yes.
Jungle Cruise, yeah.
Yes, not book, cruise. Sorry, I was watching one of the corridor videos today, and they were talking about they were talking about the Jungle Book and whatnot and Mowgli.
I was thinking a third Jungle Book.
Yeah, okay. No, sorry. Jungle Cruise, and it's basically a big picture of Dwayne and a smaller picture of Emily Blunt, and then Emily Blunt came back and re-released one where her picture was larger and covering part of the rocks, and he was smaller and in the background, sort of thing. And so them taking stabs at each other, and the banter between the two of them, it's kind of cute. I mean, it's going to be entertaining nonetheless. I mean, I like Emily Blunt. I like Dwayne Johnson. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be.
It's not going to be a great film. I mean, I like the ride at Disney World. It was a fun ride, but when it was announced, I was like, really?
But it's probably something the kids would like. Like if you have really young children.
Yeah, there is no doubt.
They'll enjoy it.
My kids will. I mean, Josie will laugh herself like a hyena during the whole film, so it'll be good for her.
Oh yeah, and it definitely is going to be one of those movies. It's going to be one. Kids are going to sit down in front of it, laugh. There'll be funny jokes. There'll be
It'll be like if you like this sort of movie, then this is the movie for you.
Movie for you, yes, exactly, yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to our bit of our news gathering, and what we found out today is that, not today, this past week, that Netflix has canceled Jupiter's Legacy after its first season.
And that made me laugh because last week we were talking about this. And I had said they should have stuck to the 5 issues, do 5 episodes, 1 episode for each comic book. And I would have guaranteed they'd have a second season if they had done that. Because the comic was so intense. It was like a roller coaster. You are introduced to all these characters. Main characters die. Everyone changes. The whole situation. They're on the run. A child's born. Like, it's an intense comic series. And from what I watched with the Netflix, it was so bloody boring. And it shouldn't have been like that based on the source material. Now it's canceled.
Yeah, now it is canceled. Netflix has mentioned that they didn't have the viewership they were expecting to get, if I read my my information properly. And they obviously, once you drop a whole entire series, after a couple of weeks, you're not going to get much of a return on it. Unless something spectacular happens, that something happens to one of the actors or something happens with something and they're like, oh, let's see what this last thing Josh Duhamel did or something like that. And then you get a spike again in viewership. But that's the way Netflix does it, by dropping the whole entire series at one time. Like we've mentioned before, you watch it, it lasts in the zeitgeist for like 2, maybe 3 weeks if you're lucky, and then it disappears. It disappears because something else comes along, especially this time in history when there is so much to be dropped on streaming every other week.
And I just read that Miller was saying that he had envisioned this as a 40-hour arc, the whole show. So that's
most unfortunate.
Yeah, so that's why part of the reason why it was so long was when he had participated in kind of writing, like adapting it, he saw it as a 40-hour arc from the first episode to the end of the last episode. And unfortunately, we only got, 8 hours?
But the thing is, if you read the comic books, again, there's so much history. There's so much places you can go. Like you can jump back in time. You can go into the future. You can do episodes on individual characters. There's so much to work with. Like I could easily see, if it was handled correctly, that you could get to that point eventually. But you can't do that if you don't captivate the audience in the first series.
Yeah, again, that is the unfortunate thing. I mean, the nice thing is that Mark Miller was actually working on the actual program itself, which was nice. And like you said, if that's how it happened, Trevor, if that's how the whole entire thing happened, how was it expecting to be a lot longer than what we actually got, it would have made sense that it moved a little slower or something like that. Yeah. So.
And the thing is, Netflix bought Miller World, like the remaining properties that they had, for $31 million.
Yeah, exactly.
So they are obviously banking on turning this into something. So with the first series already canceled.
I think that's why they kind of turned the corner and said, let's just go right to super crooks. People like following villains more than they do heroes.
Do they? I mean, they think they do. I don't know if they do or not, though.
So we also got Josh Duhamel responding to this, and it's basically a picture of him still in his currently buff form and all that, with the long, scraggly white hair and the beard. And it's basically, when you get dumped by Netflix, you have to put yourself back out there. Hashtag sexy Santa summer. And then at the end of it, he goes, "What's up, Hulu?" So
who knows?
So did you guys, can you see this right here? It's Jensen Ackles from Supernatural has responded to it with "boom" as his response. That's hilarious. All right.
And honestly, why not? Like, at the very least, put out a little mini YouTube show, right? Do something.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious. Why not do a sexy Santa summer, just little 5-minute YouTube videos? That'd be hilarious.
You totally could. Well, obviously
we could produce it. Do we have the budget to produce something like that, Troy?
Let me
maybe
check
if we get some donations.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see about that. Maybe. Well, okay. Technically, if he's still in the Toronto area, yes, we probably could pull that off. Maybe. But you never know. I mean, look, the cast I thought was spectacular in it. I didn't know much
about. Was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Mike, I didn't know much about the actual comic to begin with. I knew of it. I knew like a basic storyline and all that. But from what I saw, the cast is fantastic. They were spectacular, and these characters, like portraying these characters that were 80 some odd friggin' years old. And I was blown away by especially those main actors that played both the young version and the older versions of the characters. So it will be very unfortunate if this doesn't get picked up somewhere else to continue on, because what we know what the story can be, and if Miller was, see, that's the other thing too. It's a Netflix had bought the Miller thing, so there's less of a chance of it going somewhere else. That's the thing.
Yeah, but is it a first refusal kind of thing, or
no?
They bought
it. They bought the whole
thing.
But I mean, you could get someone from Hulu say, "We'll tell you what, we'll license it."
Yep. Yeah, just
because then that's putting money back into Netflix's pocket anyway.
Do you think Netflix would do that? I don't think so. They have enough money. I could see them hoarding it for themselves.
Well, if they feel they didn't get the viewership, they could say, "Sure, you guys foot the bill, pay us our licensing fee, and we get a back end off the, if you guys make money off it, we get a percentage." Simple as that.
They could do that. Is there a precedent for that? Has Netflix ever done something like that?
I don't know if Netflix has, but I'm sure other companies have.
Other companies have, but Netflix is like its
Netflix is usually the one rescuing the series.
Yeah, they're the ones usually like, well, tell you what, we'll take Cobra Kai.
Yeah, we'll fund a 5th and 6th season. Oh wait, right. It's getting big enough. Okay, we'll make it 7 and 8.
Yeah, there we go.
Nobody wants to watch The Expanse. Amazon.
Oh yeah, they do.
Hello.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. Perfect example for that too. Yeah.
But I see Netflix as being like the last scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark with the warehouse of properties. I think that's what they're going for.
I think they used to be like that, but as they've expanded as a media company, they're willing to take a chance on various things. I mean, they bought a bunch of rights for shows that were on YouTube Red.
That's the thing, is they buy them, but do they ever sell them or lease them out? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
So we'll see.
All right. So the other thing we're going to move on to is MCU related, and apparently Paul Bettany's his contract is up, and there's a chance of him not returning as the Vision. Now, allegedly, yes. Now, we will wordplay. Yes, Paul Bettany loves the wordplay. If everyone remembers the posting that he made on Instagram about looking forward, or was it Twitter or Instagram, where he made the post about wanting to work with a particular actor in the finale of WandaVision, someone that he's admired for years and wanted to work with all this time. And as everyone knows, in the final episode, Paul Bettany goes up against Paul Bettany as the
Mhm.
White Vision. So more than likely, we are never going to see the color version of the Vision anymore. We'll have the White Vision from now on, which means he's not returning as Jarvis. He's not returning as the Vision. He'll be returning as the White Vision because Paul Bettany likes wordplay.
Mhm.
And even that could be for now until he gets his color back or something. Like, again, this is Marvel. Marvel has a great track record of playing the media and giving us fake trailers and misdirection and keeping the audience interested. Like, whereas other trailers, they'll give it away the whole story to the point where you don't even want to see it. But a great example is Infinity War, where you see the Hulk in Wakanda. That was never even in the movie. They just did that to misdirect everybody,
Mhm.
right? And
Even
said
had the toy.
Hulk, yeah. So Hulk just gets beaten down first scene and never comes back. So again, Marvel is amazing at doing this kind of stuff, and the actors know how to play ball with this. Like Feige has a good grip on the media relations, and everybody does what they're told and does it right.
Well, here's
Go
what he
ahead.
said. He says, I don't have a contract. I don't know that. I don't know that at all. And I don't know, or what all I know is at this sort of trench of press goes, it's for an Emmy push, which is all limited series. So it doesn't look like it's happening again. I mean, I guess it would be difficult to introduce White Vision and not deal with him in some way, but we have not discussed that. That's all he says.
Yeah, there you
That I
go.
have a
Yeah.
contract, and we haven't.
And these guys
discussed
are
it.
also actors.
open-ended.
Right? An actor giving an interview, if they're a good actor, they can say whatever they're
Oh,
told.
I think he doesn't lie. That's the
Oh.
biggest thing is I've noticed is the actors, they don't lie when they're, especially MCU actors, they don't lie. They just omit a lot of stuff, and they will
Or don't say everything.
Yeah, they'll just double speak it, and you'll get to it because everyone will take it the one way.
And it gives a good headline, it gives the reporters a good story,
Mhm.
and it keeps the audience surprised when you see the movie.
Yeah, so like
I don't know anything about that. I haven't not read the script.
It's just like Robert Downey Jr. saying he's not coming back as Tony Stark.
No, not coming back as
They're
Iron
on
Man.
it. Well, yeah, sorry, yeah,
He's not coming back as Iron Man.
He's not putting on the armor ever again.
That's it, right? Yeah, that was
He
it.
never
Yes.
put on the armor after Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
From that point on, it was always the
CG suit.
Yeah, the gray suit.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course he's not putting on the armor.
All right, and the other thing we have is we got a nice little behind-the-scenes look at stuff that's going on with the filming of the Flash movie. And what it is we have a look at the classic Michael Keaton style Batman costume, and it's just the chest symbol of the actual chest piece, and there is a splotch of actual fresh blood on it, which looks really, really, yes, exactly, Trevor, really, really cool. So what do you guys think about this sort of thing?
The image kind of reminds me a lot of, from The Watchmen, the comedian, like that. It's that kind of blood.
Yes, very, yes.
Even the coloration of the blood, it was just like, wow, that's very similar to the comedian.
And fandom's been talking about Michael Keaton coming back forever, like right down to Kevin Smith and everybody else. And because there's been so much strange stuff happening with the DC cinematic universe, it would be nice to kind of pull back some of the most memorable, most favorite moments. Like, so Michael Keaton coming back as Batman.
Yeah.
I think would be
for
amazing.
sure. Yeah.
They need a win somewhere. They really do.
And I thought they would do it with like a Batman Beyond. That's what I was kind of hoping for. Do a Batman Beyond where he's
Michael Keaton as an old gray grizzled Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, with a
all
new
crotchety
Batman.
and walking around with a cane.
Oh, for sure, with a giant friggin' ace as his
giant
dog.
Doberman.
Yeah. That would be fantastic.
But if something like the Flash leads to that, then I'm all for it.
Me too.
Yeah. And we're just going to quickly, and this is what everyone's talking about, is this particular image right here, which, did I click on the right one? Yes, I did. Let's share that screen right there. Did I open up an ad? Can you guys hear that music?
I don't hear any music. But
I don't hear any music
It's
either.
just me then. Never mind. So there we go. We
Yeah,
got
just the way the blood is splattered and the shapes, that's 100%.
that is totally, yes, that is totally Watchmen. Comedian.
Although that does look a bit like strawberry jam.
Kind of looks, that upper thing kind of looks like a little slug with the two little doops. He's got a slug of blood on him.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, so we're looking forward. Then that's obviously currently in production. So we're looking at probably next summer for the Flash movie, which of course is going to be multi-universe. And as far as we know,
let's face it, at least they're consistent with the Flash across the DC like properties. It's all about Barry sticking his dick in the damn time loops.
Let's fix the time here. Let's fix that. I was late for that meeting. Let's fix that. My coffee was cold. I want to get it when it was hot. He's just constantly jumping on that goddamn cosmic treadmill.
All right. So
I've got something to share for you guys here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
This is Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is with the new Captain America. And I think this is one of the best things I've seen from new Cap. So it's basically new Captain America, the Falcon, going up against Thanos. And Thanos saying, I thought by eliminating half of life, the other half would thrive. And Sam Wilson, why kill half the universe when you can simply double up the resources? You got to do better, Thanos. And that made me just love the new Captain America. Yeah. So whoever created that meme, congratulations.
Yeah, no, that was very funny.
Feels so within character.
Well, I mean, that was a question a lot of people had when, he set his whole plan. He's like, we're just going to snuff out half the life and then, there'll be more resources. Why don't you just make more resources? You've got the goddamn Infinity Gauntlet. You can make more resources.
Yeah. And actually, that's one misstep I think they did. We talked about Infinity War before, but the fact that in the comics, he was trying to court death. And even in the first Avengers movie, he talks about courting death.
Yeah,
and
he's not doing it to save the universe. He's doing it to get Death's attention and make her love him.
And I like the fact he's saying it. It's like, oh, I'm trying to, help more with the resources. I'm trying to help the galaxy thrive. No, you're not. You're just trying to impress Death over there. He's just trying to pick up a chick.
That was, I mean, to me, that's why Thanos was such a threat in the comics, because he was a nihilist. He worshipped Death. And people are like, oh, you worship Death. And he's like, no, I worship Death. She's just over there. I want to get her attention. And they're like, it's a dick play. Okay.
Yeah. And I think
turns out Thanos was just a fuckboy.
Yeah, he just didn't want to get cock-blocked, so he figured,
Yeah, wiping out half the universe?
Yeah, that's what was cock-blocking.
That's what it takes?
Half the entire goddamn universe. Either Death is really playing hard to get, or Thanos really needs to up his game.
Or he's just trying too hard.
Yeah.
Those Tinder lines just weren't working.
He could have just sent her a Hallmark card. Open it up, want a bone? There we go. Or the human body has 206 bones. Want another? There's a whole variety of things he could have done. Dead flowers, dead cat, Hallmark card. It all would have worked.
More dating advice from Trevor next week.
Snap?
All right, so now we're going to move on to basically what everyone's watching right now, reading right now, listening to, and all that. What do you guys got up on there? Right now, we still have, a good portion of us are in Canada, so Disney Plus is dropping us one episode at a time of MODOK, and Mr. Trevor has it on Hulu, which got every single episode. So we're behind him, but this past week, they dropped a really cool time travel episode that MODOK and his wife go on a bit of a time traveling adventure, and some ominous stuff about the Gravel. Is that the name of the company?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gravel. We get a nice little behind the scenes of their sinister ways being revealed. As it turns out, they basically bought out AIM so that they can get all of MODOK's inventions. So it turns out oh no, sorry, that wasn't actually the time traveling episode. That was the next episode. I messed up 2 episodes, didn't I? Because it was the one where they made the porthole to the Brood universe, which I was like excited to, like, oh my god, they're gonna have the Brood in this. And then it turns out that the Brood were taken over. They were killed off by a party alien race that MODOK brought in, and turns out that they basically, their conquest is to kill everyone by partying them all to death. So MODOK had to stop them and all that. So the invention that MODOK made to open up this porthole is what the grumble people had stolen, but in the previous episode, the time travel episode allowed a young MODOK to get his hands on a time travel device, and this is where Trevor's favorite line of Dippin' Dots. I want to see if they are the
Are they truly now the ice cream of the future?
ice cream of the future. So yeah. I was watching the whole entire episode. I'm like, when is he going to come to the modern day? When is he going to come to the modern day? Because I know he says that line. I've been told he says that. There it was at the very end of it and all that. He does. Yeah, again, it is a surprisingly entertaining and stupid show.
Oh,
it is
highly stupid.
Yeah,
it's all the best ways.
But it's also so beautifully done too. I mean, the animation is just, again, superior animation for stop motion animation as well. Stop motion animation, and the writing is actually quite hilarious. And again, they're carrying 25, 26-minute episodes, and it's very impressive that
they're doing it really well too.
Yeah, they are doing it very well. Yeah. Looking forward to more, and we know that Trevor has already seen them all, and we're just gonna go week by week. Over on the other series that's currently running is Bad Batch, and if anyone's caught up on that, we're getting a little more of a I see all the nodding heads, and I'm just saying that the story is starting to get a little more filled in. They're not doing any more of the background thing. We got Hutch is actually the big guy. Hutch, yes,
Wrecker.
Wrecker. Wrecker seems to be, there's a couple of episodes where Wrecker is having a problem with getting headaches. So we might get into a chip problem like we had with Crosshair. So we might actually have someone else. Omega is starting to fill out as one of the main characters. We are working with a, what is Bosk's alien race? Celestrian? The lizard? Yeah, Celestrian, right? You know what? Hey, if I'm wrong, correct me. Send me a message about correcting me about that. We're going to call them Celestrians right now. I'm not even going to look it up. You know what? If I'm right, no, don't look it up. Don't any of you guys look it up. No, stop. Look away from your screens. Trevor, Gavin, I can see that you're looking over at screens. Stop.
I just keep thinking he's the guy Captain Kirk neck chopped.
Exactly, the neck chopped lizard. Yes, yes. The Gorgon. Yes. Yeah, the Gorgon from that Star Trek episode. But anyways, we're introduced to a female broker sort of one that is basically sending them out on missions to retrieve things. And we actually, this last episode, we ran into a bunch of characters that were introduced in the Clone Wars series. And also we had a bunch of battle droids come reanimated to be used against, to help the clones fight. Yes? Yes, Trevor?
Celestian is Neve Numb. You know,
yeah, I know. I realized the more I was talking about it, I'm like, oh no, Celestrian is...
Yeah. Trandoshan is a
Trandoshan, son of a bitch. You know, I could always edit that out. I'm not going to, because I realized after I kept going on, I'm like, oh no, Celestrian, Neo Numb, Neo 10, yeah. Anyways, so we're introduced to her, and actually it's kind of cool because she's the character is actually voiced by Rhea Perlman from Cheers, which is kind of neat. So, but it's getting.
Still not watching it.
No, I don't.
It's just that's just not enough to pull me back in.
And I don't blame you. I still will be watching it. Like I've said before, I'm the big Star Wars fan. I'm the completionist. I will watch it all, and it is getting better. The episodes have been getting better storyline.
If it gets better, or if I suddenly have more free time, I might come back and catch up. But right now, no.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to hearing the moment you say, Trevor, it's time to
start watching it. Yeah. Now is when you start watching it. Yeah.
It's like the third time they've done this song to us today.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, pitter patter.
We've got Remembering the 80s on our Stingray on the TV, because we just, when we're not watching it, we just have music playing in the background. And Maniac is played. She's a Maniac. Has apparently been playing for 3 times so far.
Did you just say Adrian's a maniac?
Yes, I did say Adrian's a maniac, and she's dancing like she hasn't danced before. All right, so what we're moving on to is the next show that is currently on Netflix. And again, like Netflix, the whole entire series has been dropped, all 8 episodes all at once, and that is Sweet Tooth, based on the DC comic book. Now, I am aware of the fact that it is a very dark comic book. It is a very disturbing comic book. I believe it's also done in black and white. Is it not, Michael?
I did not read the comic.
Oh, I thought you had mentioned that you had flipped through it or once.
I always did flip through it. If I remember right, it's in color, but I think it's like a faded out watercolor.
Oh, okay.
Let me check.
Those. Okay. So, anyways, the series dropped on Netflix. It's all there. I personally only got through the first 2 episodes. There are full-length episodes. There are like around the 55, 56-minute mark and all that. It was kind of cool because as I'm watching, I'm like, where's this shot? It takes place, part of it takes place in Yosemite. I don't believe they actually put an actual year that this actually takes place, but it is modern day Earth. And a virus has broken out and is killing off a good portion of the population. And yes, you get the little pinky tremors in it, which was after the second time I realized, oh, that's a pretty cool digital effect. There's no way anyone can just shake their finger like that. But also as a secondary, hello? Oh, sorry guys, just give me a second here. No, it didn't, sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, it's like a washed out color.
Okay, that is kind of cool. Nice. So also as a result of this sickness, as they call it, the sick, a generation of children are being born with animal hybrids. Yes, they're called hybrids, and they're being born with animalistic properties. Either like some kids have partial dog features, they have the long ears, and our main character is born with deer features, Gus. And we are introduced to him as his father is basically running into the middle of Yellowstone National Park and trying to stay away from humanity as things are getting pretty bad for the human race because yes, people are actually accusing these hybrids of being responsible for the sick as well. And so people are out to try and kill these poor defenseless children that more than likely have nothing to do with the sickness or just a side effect and all that. While it is a sad story, it's a very Disney-esque sort of thing. We start off with the main character has lost his mother unbeknownst to him because he's an actual infant when we're introduced to him. And we experience in the first episode the first 9 years of his life with his dad as he tries to make a life for his son in the middle of the wilderness.
And the dad's Will Arnett.
The dad is Will Arnett, who
plays it beautifully.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Will Arnett doing serious is fantastic, but a lot of good comedic actors can do that. They can do the crazy, wacky sort of thing, and like, I mean, it's 180 from his MacGruber, this character of the father of Gus's father. So Pappy, he calls him. Yeah. And it's beautifully shot. It looks fantastic. It's all practical, and I was so thrilled to find out that the ears that the actor wears for Gus are animatronic ears. They are actually physically on him and moving by a puppeteer. They are remote controlled puppeteering, which I believe is fantastic. Because there was a couple of times where I'm like, oh, what is that sort of thing and all that? Like, I could see in certain shots they're just plastered on his head, and sometimes they could be CG, but apparently it's all practical. And it actually, the whole entire series is shot in New Zealand, which is a nice thing to find out as well. Well,
they didn't have COVID there.
Yes, exactly.
They got over it faster than anyone else.
Exactly, yeah, which is definitely helpful when it comes to that sort of situation of shooting stuff like this. It looks beautiful. It is very, it's very inviting. It's very welcoming into this universe. It gets dark at times. There is a storyline, like I said, I only made the second episode, where there are people, you find out that there are people hunting these children.
Yeah, poachers.
Poachers, yes. And apparently a deer, which is Gus, is a very rare happening. So yeah, so it's a little. Plus the fact that apparently, when at one point Gus speaks to a couple of the hunters that he runs into, they're
flabbergasted.
Thank you. That this guy speaks. So there might be a problem with the hybrids. But again, we don't know anymore because we haven't been introduced within the first 2 episodes. We haven't been introduced to any more hybrids than Gus. Again, I hope it sticks around well because what I've seen looks really cool. It looks like it's beautifully written and fantastically acted. And yeah,
What would you rate it? Rotten Tomato score from you.
I would give it, let's see, out of 100, I would give it, from what I've seen, I would give it okay, I'm going to put everything into consideration. Acting, the look, it looks fresh. A couple of the actors I've seen before and I've liked them before. So I'm going to give it a high number. I'm going to give it, an 86, 87 right now. I want to see.
You rated it low, Troy. So the current rating on Rotten Tomatoes is 93% audience score. It is a
93.
And 97% tomato meter.
There you go. Again, I'm just doing it on the first 2 episodes. I mean, I really enjoyed them. I'm looking forward to seeing more, but I just don't want to like if
it's good. Keep Trevor's expectations low so he doesn't get disappointed.
I'm already almost through the first episode, so
yeah. Again, it's a Netflix series, so Mike's not going to watch it anytime soon.
But I will once Cobra Kai's out.
Yes, Cobra Kai will be the reason that Mike watches everything on Netflix. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to catching the rest of the series. It's only 8 episodes. Again, each just under an hour each, so it should be.
I should have this whole watched by. Let's see, it's June. By the end of July, I should have all the
exactly. Once Netflix cancels the 2nd season. So.
Right around that time.
I'm hoping not. I mean, if this turns out to be, it turns out to be what I'm expecting it to be, then I'm totally looking forward to it. This kid that plays Gus is fantastic. His facial expressions.
Everything I've seen, like I'm fully on board for it.
That's right. I'm staring at you, Gavin. What do you have to say about this? You have no idea, right?
I've seen the trailers. I'm gonna watch it as soon as I can. It does look like something I would want to watch. Your glowing review of the first couple of episodes is definitely pointing me towards watching it sooner than later.
Excellent. Yeah. No. Again, like I said, I've really enjoyed it. Again, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm really enjoying it right now. So. All right, so I guess we can move on to our big portion of the actual show. We have our box office showdown, where we take a listings by Box Office Mojo. Oh, come on, guys.
Yeah, we're listening. We're listening.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can kill them both at the same time.
Well, Ironman 3 and The Dark Knight Rises. So
So basically what we do is we use the listings on Box Office Mojo's all-time box office worldwide gross, and we put them as in a that's it, bracket form. Yes. I should write this little speech out so it'll be just so much easier to read it off the script each time. And right now we are doing our round 6, which is going to take our 6th place movie out of the list.
Gavin, put some pants on.
Or take them off. You can't do both.
Does he just have one leg on? Because I don't have my camera up right now. I'm not looking at the screens.
Don't look.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 6th place movie, which on the top 100 is actually in the 20th place. And that is 2013's Iron Man 3, which brought in a total gross of $1,214,811 and $811,252. And that's going up against the 11th place movie, which is actually 31st on the list, and that is 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. So, as we got the little preview there from everybody, we're trying to figure out which is the one that's going to move on. So let's start off. We'll just talk about each of the movies and then we'll decide after that. So in Iron Man 3, when Tony Stark's world is torn apart by a formidable terrorist called the Mandarin, he starts an odyssey of rebuilding and retribution. So this is directed. Mandarin. So this is directed by Shane Black.
Yeah.
And again, stars Robert Downey Jr. as one of the main bad guy is Guy Pearce. We've got also Gwyneth Paltrow, and we have as the actor Trevor, we have Ben Kingsley. So
this was a movie of wasted opportunity.
How so?
That's I mean the quickest way I can sum up. It's so. You've got the storyline of Tony dealing with PTSD.
Yes.
You know, struggling with what's happened from the course of the event, like from the Avengers movie. He's really struggling.
Now this is after Age of Ultron or before Age of Ultron?
This is after Avengers, but before Age of Ultron.
Before Age of Ultron, right.
So he's struggling with, you know, being pushed out into space with riding a nuclear missile. I mean, all that's kind of done a number on his head. That's why he at one point he's in a car, he has a panic attack. But it's a movie of a lot of wasted opportunity. I mean,
because I like that PTSD aspect. I
was
looking forward to that so much.
The movie should have been most of that, him dealing with this PTSD and stepping forward, not just like, oh, I'm magically cured and everything, but him accepting it and stepping forward with it. Like accepting it and you know and becoming the next stage of Tony Stark that we then see in the next film. But instead it's so you have AIM and then you have the Mandarin on top of that, and it's they're two.
And Mandarin is what I wanted to see, and I wanted to see magic introduced.
I think everyone. I think everyone.
Doctor Strange is coming. Give us magic before.
I mean, it was a great tie-in from the first movie to now we see the 10 rings and we see the power behind the 10 rings. And
it's something technology can't handle.
Yeah, instead we get Trevor Slattery and AIM. And I remember sitting in the theater going, this is what they came up with. And then when it's a Shane Black film, I'm like, well, this is what they came up with. So it was just, I just felt like walking in the theater was like, there's just so much wasted opportunity. It's just like they reached into a bag and grabbed a bunch of names. And let's just throw them in left and right. And again, let's kill off the villain. And I mean, there's a nice sequence where he, you know, in his spare time, he was building different Iron Man armors for different purposes. And then he's like, oh, just blow them all up. Yeah.
The worst thing about it, all those extra Iron Man armors is they didn't work. He kept falling out of them.
Yeah, they just.
I've never seen the Iron Man fall out of so many outfits. It's crazy. It's like Gavin trying to keep his pants on.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just like you're part of the team. You know,
I'll do it.
Please don't. But I just look at this. He's part of the Avengers at this point. Black Widow could use some armor. Hawkeye could really use some goddamn armor. Maybe throw some armor at Captain America. But no. Let's just blow them all up. There we go. Blow them up. Tell Pepper Potts I'm a new man. Blow up all my armors, and life is good. And here we go again. And then
it's like Tony Stark. You did not think that through.
Yeah, it was a lot. As just the whole movie felt like a huge wasted opportunity. I mean, I know they were coming off Iron Man 2, where he just basically fought his duplicate yet again. So like, well, this time it won't be the duplicate. It'll be, you know, enhanced humans. Just 10 rings magic. Come on, what's the problem? Just
or at least a giant dragon wearing purple underpants. I would even take that.
Just something. Let him face the Mandarin, like the real Mandarin. I mean, they gave the clue, like the hint in the one shot afterwards when Slattery's in prison that the Mandarin is a real person. He's not something that the AIM came up with, and he was pissed that they sullied his good name.
Yeah, that was the Marvel short that they did, right?
Yeah, but still, that was my take on Iron Man 3. It was a lot of wasted opportunity that they just let it pass them by. So, end rant.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you. It was probably the biggest disappointment of the MCU at that point. Yeah, I mean, even Thor 2, no idea what it was going to be anyways. I had no idea who the bad guys were to begin with. So whatever it was either going to be good or yeah, exactly. It didn't matter whether they were good or bad or anything. Going into Iron Man 3, knowing that the Mandarin was going to be part of the storyline, I'm pretty sure every fan was all like, "Oh my God, Mandarin! We get the rings!" And the fact that Ben Kingsley, the Trevor character, looked like a really cool version of the Mandarin.
And the voice.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
I mean,
if I just watched the trailer, I would have been happy.
Another lesson.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he'd actually been a real villain with that nuanced voice and that look, I would have been like, Tony, you fucked. Especially if this guy has magic. If this guy has the true 10 ring, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You better be calling in all your Avenger pals because this is more than you can handle.
But again, you gotta love Ben Kingsley when he turned out not to be who he was, and he was being Trevor. He was hilarious. I mean,
it was hilarious, but I did not enjoy it. I appreciated the performance.
Yeah.
I appreciated the comedy. Yeah. But I tapped out at that point. It's like, it doesn't matter how funny this is. You're not the Mandarin, and I want my money back.
The part that still gets me is I can't figure out Killian's motivation for going after Tony. Like, yeah, he wanted Tony to help perfect the process, but was it all because he was still dick hurt from way back at that convention where he got left on the roof?
Yes.
That was his whole reason before. I am going to take you down because
because reasons. That's why.
Oh, it was like, really? You're supposed to be this goddamn fucking smart, and you get butt hurt over you get stood up. Whoop-de-doo. You've obviously gone on to be a success of some sort. Yeah.
What did you think, Gavin?
Well, it was directed and written by Shane Black. He's got a good history of writing comedy, and I kind of looked at Iron Man 3 as a bit of a basically Lethal Weapon, Marvel Cinematic Universe style. Like the previous movies all dealt with Robert Downey Jr. / Tony Stark in the armor. So what happens when he doesn't have the armor? So how could he face off with this? And we find out, he uses his genius inventions to, just going to a hardware store and making tasers and explodey things and all sorts of stuff. I thought it was rather ingenious in terms of like how they had him solve a lot of the issues. His relationship with the kid was interesting. I thought that was, the kid just kind of helped him through his issues. I realized it was kind of like the magic kid that helps kind of thing. Sure. But in this case, it was, it was somebody who sees Tony Stark for more than what he sees himself as in this case. Was it my favorite Marvel movie? Absolutely not. Did I think they pulled it off like an entertaining movie? Sure, and yeah, of course I thought the Iron Man armor exploding was a waste, but I think we kind of got a glimpse into the sort of the madness that Tony Stark was going down. The spiraling hole, and eventually it got to the point where enough was enough. He realized I've got too many suits of armor. But I did enjoy watching them all in action when they weren't getting, knocked out of the sky.
It's funny, Gav, you mentioned him being out of the armor. I think this movie could have been better if, as part of Tony's PTSD, he kind of fears the armor. That's why he almost like the Hulk not wanting to come out in Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War. He doesn't want to step back into the armor. And that whole process of him, using his inventive genius to make other gadgets so he doesn't have to get in the armor. That I think would have played better into him, dealing with this PTSD, because that gives a part of he was put in that situation in the Avengers because he was in the armor. With him not being in the armor, he never would have rode that nuclear weapon up into space. It never could have happened. So
right.
if
Yeah,
it was,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
so if it was part of his PTSD is his unwillingness to get back in the armor because that situation could happen again, and he doesn't feel he could handle it, that would, then you have that whole him being the character separate from Iron Man. He's Tony Stark. He doesn't want to be Iron Man, but he still will make gadgets and whatnot to help overcome the situation. But he's using that as a crutch to get away from being Iron Man until at such point he finally has to accept that he is Iron Man.
Good point.
The movie didn't deliver that.
No, it did not. No. And unfortunately, yes. Now I understand what you mean by missed opportunities. There was so much more they could have done.
Yeah, honestly, if they had capitalized on things like that, Iron Man 3 would probably be one of the strongest films in the MCU.
Should have been.
But it was just, because you didn't have to retread his origin or anything like that. You were on new ground. You had a character who was damaged psychologically. Let that play out on the screen. We get to see him as he walks through that whole process until eventually he gets acceptance again and makes that statement of, he realizes he is Iron Man. He can't separate himself from that, but he comes to accept it. That's the film I wanted to see, and that's not the film I got to see.
There's a scene in the trailer here which captivated me where he's lying in the snow. His armor looks completely busted, and there, to me, that's encapsulates the moment that you're kind of talking about, Trevor. Like, he's already got the PTSD. Now he's completely defeated. His armor is completely wrecked, and what does he do after this moment?
He immediately says, "Get out!" He has to get out of the armor as fast as he can.
Yeah, and then from there, then he can do the Home Alone with the magic kid.
Yeah,
and work his way back to where he should be. And there's something about that. Now, my favorite scene in the movie, or it was almost my favorite scene, is when all the people are falling out of the airplane and Iron Man has to catch and save every single person that's falling. To me, that was the most heroic moment of the entire movie, and he wasn't even in the suit. And that just outright pissed me off. The only redeeming moment for me personally as a superhero, the superhero moment, and he's not even there for it, is he's doing the remote control thing with the suit. And at that point, I remember sitting in the theater, it's I'm done. I am tapped out at this point.
Yeah, I felt kind of the same. I was like, this is the pivotal moment where he accepts that he is Iron Man. It's not just about him, it's about saving others. And then they do the whole scene where they comes up, gets hit by the truck, and he's always in the boat. I'm just like, oh, really?
Yeah.
That's how we end that sequence.
And now I do like the fact they brought in Iron Patriot. That was cool.
Yeah. Yes. That sequence of the people falling, that was done as a practical effect.
I was just going to point that out. That was a practical.
All the stuntmen, the skydivers, linking together to make that. To me, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If you're going to do that, at least throw Tony Stark out of the plane, right?
Yeah.
He should be there.
Yeah, and again, like you guys said, as soon as it's realized that Tony wasn't in that suit, the whole entire existence for that sequence just falls flat. It just
the hero is because he was never in danger, ever.
It would have been cool if he landed, stepped out of the suit, and then the suit got taken out while he was
he lands on the road, pops out of the suit, takes a couple steps, that wasn't quite so bad. Turns back as soon as a truck goes by.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now I will say, Spider-Man: Homecoming, they used a lot of those same tricks, but they did it right for that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the remote control Iron Man armor in that movie made sense.
That made sense
because he thinks he's talking to his hero, but no, he's just doing a.
And then when he's not talking to him, and he's inside the suit.
And then there's times where he steps out of the armor, in the same way he fell out of the armor all through Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Again, it worked in that movie, but for me, it didn't work in this one.
So for me, Iron Man 3, a lot of missed opportunities.
And I would say for me, it's my least favorite of all the Marvel movies.
It's for me, it's a strong tie with Thor 2. I really have a strong despise for Thor 2.
That comes third last in my list, but we'll talk about that later.
All right. So we're going to move on to the other movie in our list, and that is 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. Returns, which, as we know, is all directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Jonathan and Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Anne Hathaway, and the rest of the gang. So the nice thing is that we've got two third movies going up against each other. So that also plays into our situation here. So what did you guys think of this? Now, I know how much we all enjoyed the previous Batman movie. What did we think of this version?
Best Bane voice ever. When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
Was that? I didn't understand you, Bane. What did you say again? I still don't understand you.
So,
so
here's the description. 8 years after the Joker's reign of anarchy, Batman, with the help of an energetic Catwoman, is forced from his exile to save Gotham City from the brutal guerrilla terrorist Bane. How much are they paying these people to do these synopsises on IMDb? I guess that's pretty much
paying them more than us, probably.
That basically covers the movie without being spoilery. That basically covers the movie without being spoilery, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
Now, so not only is this the third of Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, it wraps up the Batman movies. There isn't going to be another one after this. It's sort of it's sort of a letdown after what we just saw with.
I think sort of is an understatement.
You think? I mean,
a complete, utter, horrible letdown, in my opinion. Not to put words in your mouth.
No, hey, it's your opinion. You're welcome to it. Now, again, it draws from a lot of comic book, which is definitely dealt incorrectly in this movie format. Everyone knows about the sequence in the comics where Bane comes out, breaks Batman's back, and Batman's put out of commission for quite a while, actually. The way they deal it in this one, sure, they give Bane a different background, but that's okay. That's what Nolan's done with all these characters. I mean, it's the way it's going to be. Let's see.
Don't cry, Trevor. It happened so many years ago. It happened so many years ago. Don't cry.
It was unfortunately, and I also, the thing is, I saw this opening night as a trilogy. So I sat through the first two movies, and then actually a group of us, we were all done up in costume. We were dressed up. I was dressed up in a Riddler costume that I had because I wasn't going to wear makeup for 7-8 hours in the movie theater and all that. I believe Adrian was done up as the Catwoman. We had a friend of mine do this, the Penguin character from last week that we talked about. He did a Mr. Freeze costume, but based on like a little bit of the animated series. We had Hush with us. We had so we had a bunch of Batman bad guys going to see this trilogy of movies. And
okay, so you have to give your opinion first, because
I would say
this is good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I didn't enjoy the movie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, aspects to it were of what I expected from Christopher Nolan. It was spectacular. But he seemed to not have a complete story and basically decided to weave together little vignettes that he had as an idea of like, ooh, I want to see Batman do this. I want the audience to know that Bruce Wayne has damaged his body. So let's write this little sequence with all that. We have to introduce Catwoman. So let's write this little sequence and all that. We have to have the bad guy have his story. So let's write about where he came from. And then, let's give the bad guy another bad guy controlling him sort of thing. So it just didn't seem, and the end of the movie was told to us at the beginning of the movie where Michael Caine tells him that, hey, this is how I want to see your life end, and that's how the movie ends. It's just the way that he mentions it. I mean,
Now, after sitting in a theater for what would that be, like 9 hours?
Well, no, it was. Well, I guess it would be about 7 hours. Give or
Okay,
take.
so
Yeah.
at the end of that journey, after seeing the first one, the second one, the third one,
Yeah. So
what
that's
was
the
the
thing.
feeling at the end? Like,
upon first viewing, I really enjoyed it because
Okay.
it was a theatrical event. It
So it was the
a bunch of
experience?
people. Yeah, it was the experience that I'm
Okay.
pretty sure taints my opinion of what this movie is.
Okay.
I think I maybe have only gone back maybe once or twice to see this movie since then, because I've just been interested in seeing the Batman movies again, or I think it might have been on TV and I was like, oh, The Dark Knight Returns is on, or The Dark Knight Rises, sorry, is on, and let's start watching this. But I mean, the cool practical effect of that opening sequence with Bane and the plane and all that, amazing. But theatrically saying, I enjoyed the movie, but it's a situation. If I had seen the movie without the enjoyment of a full theater, having sat through 2 previous very entertaining Batman movies, which again are totally different. The first and the second one are completely different movies, which is fantastic. And this third one, completely different than any of the previous 2. But I did enjoy watching the movie. I did enjoy sitting there in the theater watching this movie. It wasn't until reflection afterwards that, okay, the storyline wasn't that strong. The characters weren't that well developed. It did irk me at the time that it turned out it was Raja Ghul's daughter.
Talia's daughter.
Talia, yeah, the daughter, Talia, yeah. Talia al Ghul was like, oh, really? Okay, well, I guess. But I enjoyed the movie, but it definitely was the inferior of the trilogy for sure. What
for me, there's a bunch of things in it that I would criticize, but the interesting thing to me is, the second Batman had all the same things. Like, I didn't like Christian Bale's voice, I'm Batman, and Bane. So you got 2, both the hero and the villain can't talk.
Right.
But the thing is, Batman was talking like that in the previous 2 movies, and I could tolerate it just because the story was good. I would say Catwoman was a wasted character in it. But at the same time, the previous one had, like Harvey Dent turns into Two-Face. That's like a throwaway thing, but it really worked in that movie. This was, again, a very Bourne Identity rather than a superhero movie. But The Dark Knight was like that as well. Like, it's same thing, but that was a great movie. So there's something about the whole movie where I just could not get engaged to it. Like, maybe because Bane wasn't the way it was in the comics. Maybe the story wasn't solid enough. Maybe because Batman flakes off at the end. Maybe because Catwoman doesn't do anything. I don't know what it is, but the whole time I was watching this thing was so long, so much spectacle. I didn't care at any point in that movie.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's unfortunate because Anne Hathaway is a fantastic actress. I enjoy practically everything that I've seen her in. So it's
well, there's so many good actors in this movie.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy how many. Like Gary Oldman, I loved him as Commissioner Gordon. Like, phenomenal. I like Michael Caine as Alfred. Like, all the characters are great, but it's just, I still don't like Batman's voice. Give me Kevin Conroy. Give me that voice. That's the voice I want as Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Conroy. You could just dub him over for any other Batman from now.
And I wish a fan would do like the Conroy dub. Like, Kevin Conroy, if you're listening, please give us the Kevin Conroy dub of Batman. I would love that. But yeah, Conroy for me, cut. It just didn't work. What's that?
It's a Conroy cut.
Yes. I would pay money to see that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys want to continue on with this anymore, because I don't think any of us. Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
I'm just waiting for Gavin. I was going to go last, so I figured
there was a lot of problems. As Mike had said, there were parts that I liked. There's bits that work really well, but as a whole, it just felt all forced together. Like just take a whole bunch of stories, dump them into the back, and hope that what comes out is like a fully baked story. Throwing in Officer Blake or whatever, like Blake Robin or whatever his name was.
Oh, Robin! I completely forgot about that.
Wow,
like,
so did I.
Like, wow, like who is this guy, and why is he going to be like? How is he going to be the new Batman? That's what it's implying. But at no point in the first two movies have we even heard of this guy. And then all of a sudden, bam, yeah, well, I trust him enough that he's going to be the new Batman. How did you figure this out?
In 2 hours and 44 minutes. That's how you figure it
out. The backbreaking scene somehow being mended in like 2 weeks. Like
by pulling yourself on a rope.
Speedy spinal repair. I don't know. And then the most recognizable millionaire in the world, off in fucking France, and is expecting no one to recognize him. Hey, isn't that Bruce Wayne over there? Oh yeah, you're right. It is Bruce Wayne. I thought he was dead. Yeah, click. Hello, newspapers. I've got a picture for you.
And where's the paparazzi?
Exactly, and like it is the biggest plot hole in the entire damn thing. How is he supposed to disappear completely anonymously and still fucking run around the Louvre or wherever he is?
I love your passion.
And that's it.
He's all passioned out.
All passionate.
Yeah, until you pointed out, Gavin, I completely forgot about Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie. Who again, another very
completely throwaway character.
Well, a throwaway character, but a wasted actor too. I mean, something that could have been introduced in the previous movie. Like it would have been amazing for Batman to have someone else to go to team up with. Like even if he was still a cop at the time, to team up.
I want to see the real Robin. Don't tell me he's a cop. Give me the real Robin. And if it's going to be Bane, break his back. And if there's going to be a new Batman based on that story, make it Azrael. Have him come back as Iron Man Batman. Like, if you're going to do the story, commit to it.
So
all right, go Trev.
I'll step up to the mic here. And this movie, it's going to sound like a broken record. Wasted opportunity. This was 2 hours plus of just wasted opportunity. Just like Iron Man 3. You set yourself up after the first movie and into the second movie, and the third movie, instead of going up, you kind of dove off the cliff and said, yeah, I can do a header. It's exactly what this movie felt. This felt like Nolan saying, I just want the fuck out of this trilogy. I have other movies I want to make. Unfortunately, it was Tenet. But anyways, it's just this whole film, it just felt like, again, just give me a name. Fuck it. I'll make my own story about the character. Like, having Bane as the guy in the pit. The comic book Bane has such a great backstory. Just threw that away, just like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Let's throw that over my shoulder. And Catwoman right over the other shoulder. It was just left and right. Talia al Ghul. I mean, yes, it's a great way to grab from the first movie and pull into the third movie. Unfortunately, you shat on it the whole way through. Like it was just, you have this great opportunity and you fucked it up. It just
if they're not kissing in the desert.
Yeah, it's just one wrong missed opportunity after the other. Batman is supposed to be the world's greatest detective. He couldn't put two and two together and figure out, maybe, just maybe. Nope. His dick's doing all his talking for him. It was, I came into the theater and I was just thinking, like, what the fuck did I just see? Because it was like Nolan had some sort of aneurysm just before the filming started, or before he started writing, and was like, let's throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's what this movie felt like. yeah, you guys hit it's all these tiny little moments that work as a tiny moment, but with no narrative to get to it and get out of it. It made no fucking sense. It was like watching a bunch of SNL skits chopped, edited together, and just, you're just watching like a bit of a skit, but not watching an entire skit play out. So it was just so disjointed the whole way through. And it just felt like, someone had like a salt shaker of characters and they just kept, oh, add some more. Oh, add some more. Oh, let's throw Robin in there. Oh, let's throw
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's like, what goal? I mean, what was the if you took Catwoman out of the movie, it still stayed the same fucking movie. She did nothing to advance the story forward. Same thing with Robin. Nothing to advance the story forward. So why have them? Why waste those actors? Why waste the dollars? Put that money into making a better story, a better film. Give Tom Hardy a better mask that he can actually act through. Yeah, and say, all
was
right,
that Bane? Bane, I didn't understand that.
And then tell Christian Bale,
Oh, right.
do a Batman voice because you suck.
Oh my God,
We
they
don't
killed
need to
Kenny.
hear Rachel one more time, because it was just like, oh God, if I hear this guy try to unnaturally deepen his voice one more time, someone's gonna have to just throat punch him or something. It's like, there you go. Now you can do a deep voice. Because his
Sorry, Batman, I didn't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so fucking, every time he talked as Batman, I just wanted to stick my fingers in my ears. I was like, could you just like subtitle it so that way I know what he says, but I don't have to hear him say it? Subtitle his Batman voice, Rachel, or whatever the fuck he was saying at that moment.
To be honest,
seriously, friend, have a fisherman's friend.
Yeah, it was that whole film. It just kept screaming to me of missed opportunities.
And I think the only reason they're even on this list is because the movie that came before it was so great.
Exactly.
Right? Dark Knight was amazing. Avengers was amazing. Everybody went to the theater and was disappointed.
Yeah,
made the box office, but it's not a good movie.
The second Batman film got everyone to this one. The Avengers got everyone into Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why these movies made over $1 billion each. That was it. All right, Troy. I can see the fingers. I gotta hit it.
No, I am totally agreeing with you. I mean, there isn't much to this conversation that one of us hasn't already said. We're just repeating what the other three people have said. Yeah. In comparison, now what we have to do is we have to come down to, and we have to figure out between the four of us, which movie is going to move on, which movie offended us the least.
Oh, that's a
I thought about this for a week and I have an answer, but you guys go first.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Iron Man 3. The only reason is because in comparison, I enjoyed the acting performances of more of the characters in Iron Man 3 than I did in The Dark Knight Rises. I enjoyed Robert Downey Jr. doing his Tony Stark, his broken Tony Stark, his trying to fix himself Tony Stark, thinking no one else needs him help. His interaction with the kid is fantastic. Like I've mentioned before, having Ben Kingsley's character, fantastic. When it turns out he's not who he's supposed to be, the character that changes into is amazing. In comparison, there's no one really in The Dark Knight Rises that I can get behind it and enjoy their portrayal of the character that they are portraying. I mean, like Trevor said, Anne Hathaway didn't need to be there. There was no reason for a Catwoman. Like Robin didn't need to be there. I mean, it was a frustrating movie. So that being said, that's the only way I can grade these. And I'm gonna have to say, for my choice, Iron Man 3 is going to move on. Who else?
I'm gonna have to next. I'm going to next. I'm gonna have to second Troy and say Iron Man 3, just because Dark Knight Rises ends, and that's all we're given. It ends. Iron Man 3 segues us into the next Avengers film. It half-ass tries to explain Tony Stark from Avengers into Age of Ultron. Doesn't do it very well, but it still gets us there. It's a broken rocky road, but it's still at the end we get back onto pavement and we keep going. Whereas Dark Knight Rises, it's a rocky road and we hit the dead end sign and we're like, fuck, we got to go back. So my vote goes to Iron Man 3.
I'm tempted to say Dark Knight Rises just to make this challenging and make it a little competition. But yeah, both of you guys said exactly what I was thinking. So the Robert Downey performance was, better than the Christian Bale in my opinion. And just like you said, Trev, it segues into more story that's enjoyable, whereas this one just ends flat. So again, because it continues and the Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, I give it to Iron Man.
All right, Gab, wow us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to surprise anyone. Iron Man 3, clearly. My reasoning behind it is the story was significantly more cohesive than The Dark Knight Rises. Like, as whatever your opinion on the story itself was, whether you didn't like the fake out Mandarin, whether you didn't like AIM, the way AIM was wasted, or him blowing up all the Iron Man suits, it was at least cohesive. There was a story, there was a plot, there was an overarching sort of flow to it. Dark Knight Rises was just a bunch of bits stuck together. And I mean, yeah, I was getting a little tired of the Christian Bale. These, Tony Stark didn't have a shtick like that. He was just like the smartass. That's what, just a much more likable version of the character they're portraying. So yeah, Iron Man 3.
All right, so
I can't wait till we start disagreeing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a slugfest when that happens.
Well, it'll eventually get down to that point. Yeah. So just as a little preview, next week, hold your opinion till the end, Michael. Next week, we have the number 7 position of 2016's Captain America Civil War going against the number 10 position, 2019's, I said hold it to the end, Michael. 2019's Captain Marvel. All right, so we're moving on and we're wrapping that up. So what we hope that everyone basically, we're just going to quickly go on to our medias to check to see if there's anything of anyone dropping
Is this
any
the end?
messages.
Captain America, it wins. Sorry.
That's okay.
You can edit that out, right?
Yeah, I can totally edit that out. I'm just going to go here and see if anyone left us any sort of messages. Let's see, checking that there. No messages there. We're going to go over to here and check messages here. I just realized I can technically hit pause on the record, right? I don't have to actually stop.
Where's the fun in that?
Wizard is about to die. Dun, 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 dun. Warrior needs food badly.
Elf shot the food.
Elf shot the potion. Elf is an asshole.
All right.
Warrior has extra shot speed.
See, if you stopped recording, you never would have got that.
Never would have gotten that. Yes, a good old classic.
Power up.
That's Altered Beast. We're talking Gauntlet, man. Jeez. Stay with the times.
I didn't even catch that. Who did the Altered Beast quote by mistake?
That would be Gavin.
By mistake?
By mistake.
Yes.
I realized that I said by mistake.
It's Gavin.
Like,
mistake. Yeah.
I threw it in there to see what Trevor would do.
All right. So if you guys want to reach out to us on our socials, you can check us out at Twitter, both Twitter and Instagram at Planet Geek Pod, which is all one word. You can send us an email to Gmail, and that's going to be under Planet Geek Pod. And if you want to check out Facebook, you can look up in the groups Planet Geek Productions, where all of our stuff is all. Check out our social medias and drop us a message, or just checking in to see when stuff's going to be put up and all that.
And also to chirp Troy about Star Wars aliens.
Yes, to correct Troy on his Star Wars aliens. So which one was the Celestian again? Weakways, right?
Neobnum is the Celestian.
Weakways, right?
Yeah, they're
weak, right?
Yeah.
Weakways.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be wrapping up this particular episode. I hope everyone enjoyed their listening adventure that they just went on to, and I believe we are going to do our collective goodbyes on 3 this time. Are we all ready? Are we going to try this?
I'm
I'm not
on
seeing
three,
any
or are
sort
we
of...
counting from 3 down to 1?
It was
Okay,
on
we'll go
three,
3, 2,
or
1.
1, 2, 3.
We'll go 3, 2, 1, and then go. Okay? I'm not going to say and then go. We're just going to...
I'm so confused. Okay, let's do it live.
All right, here we go. Does this mean we're going to have to do it every single time someone plays the episode that we're going to do it live? No. Okay, here we go. And in 3, 2, 1.
Good night,
Collective
folks.
goodbyes.
Oh.
Oh. Nope, that's good. I'm keeping it. That stays. All right. Good night, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day.
Collective goodbye.
That was pretty good.
That was horrible.
That was fantastic. Oh, that was great.
That was good.
That's going to be our signature. All right. Take care.
You have just been listening to Geeking Off the Page with your hosts, Mike Kitchen, Gavin Burbage, Trevor Brown, and Troy Bowman. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you could leave us a rating and comment, that would assist in allowing others to find this podcast more easily. You can follow the podcast on the following social platforms: Instagram and Twitter, search for @PlanetGeekPod, all one word. On Facebook, search for Planet Geek Productions. Or you can send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Buy the guys a coffee by going to Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/PlanetGeekPod. And know that any and all donations will go towards improving all current and future Planet Geek Productions programs. Thank you for listening.
What is with you? It's over. That was it. There's nothing else. Just go home already. See you in the next one. Individual goodbye.